नमस्ते दोस्तों, मैडी स्टडी सेंटर में आप सभी का दिल से स्वागत है। आज का हमारा ये सेशन पूरी तरह से चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट एंड पेडागोजी (CDP) पर केंद्रित है। इस वीडियो में हमने उन महत्वपूर्ण सवालों को शामिल किया है जो पिछले वर्षों (प्रीवियस ईयर्स) की परीक्षाओं में सबसे ज्यादा बार पूछे गए हैं। आगे बढ़ने से पहले आप जिस भी शहर या सेंटर से ये वीडियो देख रहे हैं, कमेंट में अपने उस स्थान का नाम जरूर बताएं। इससे मुझे पता चलेगा कि मेरी वीडियो कहां तक पहुंच रही है, और अगर कभी मेरा आपके शहर में आना हुआ तो हम जरूर मिल सकेंगे। अगर आप इस वीडियो को अंत तक देखते हैं तो CDP से जुड़ा कोई भी सवाल आपकी परीक्षा में आएगा तो आप उसे चुटकियों में हल कर पाएंगे। अगर आपने अभी तक हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो अभी करें और बेल आइकन दबाएं ताकि कोई भी क्लास मिस न हो। नोट्स और लेटेस्ट अपडेट्स के लिए आप हमारे व्हाट्सएप और टेलीग्राम ग्रुप मैडी स्टडी सेंटर को ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं। इस वीडियो को अपने उन सभी दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करें जो तैयारी कर रहे हैं, ताकि उन्हें भी इस सेशन का पूरा लाभ मिल सके। यदि आपको कोई भी समस्या या कंफ्यूजन हो तो बेझिझक वीडियो के नीचे कमेंट करें। हम जल्द से जल्द आपकी शंकाओं को दूर करने की पूरी कोशिश करेंगे। याद रखिए, आपकी मेहनत कभी बेकार नहीं जाती। खुद पर भरोसा रखें और अपनी तैयारी पर डटे रहें। आप सब जरूर सफल होंगे। तो चलिए, बिना किसी देरी के शुरू करते हैं आज का हमारा पहला सवाल। क्वेश्चन: द यूनिक इंटरैक्शन ऑफ डैश एंड डैश कैन रिजल्ट इन डिफरेंट पाथ्स एंड आउटकम्स ऑफ डेवलपमेंट। A. Challenges and limitations. B. Exploration and nutrition. C. Heredity and environment. D. Stability and change. Correct answer C. Heredity and environment. Heredity का मतलब है जो क्वालिटीज हमें अपने पेरेंट्स से जीन्स के थ्रू मिलती है, जैसे हाइट, आई कलर, इंटेलिजेंस की पोटेंशियल etc. एनवायरनमेंट का मतलब है वो सब कुछ जो बच्चे के आसपास होता है, जैसे फैमिली, स्कूल, टीचर्स, फ्रेंड्स, न्यूट्रिशन, कल्चर और सोसाइटी। डेवलपमेंट सिर्फ हेरेडिटी या सिर्फ एनवायरनमेंट से डिसाइड नहीं होता। इन दोनों की यूनिक इंटरैक्शन से हर चाइल्ड का डेवलपमेंट अलग होता है। इसी वजह से सेम फैमिली के दो बच्चों का डेवलपमेंट भी डिफरेंट हो सकता है, क्योंकि उनके एक्सपीरियंसेस और एनवायरनमेंट अलग हो सकते हैं। हेरेडिटी गिव्स द पोटेंशियल, एनवायरनमेंट हेल्प्स दैट पोटेंशियल ग्रो। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन: अकॉर्डिंग टू Vygotsky, the zone of proximal development (ZPD) refers to A. the gap between what a child can do alone and what they can achieve with guidance. B. the specific stage where a child begins to use logical thought. C. the process of modifying existing schemas to fit new information. D. the biological maturation process required for cognitive development. Correct answer A. the gap between what a child can do alone and what they can achieve with guidance. According to Vygotsky, the zone of proximal development (ZPD) is the difference between what a child can do independently without help and what the child can do with the guidance of a teacher, parent, or a more knowledgeable person (MKO). यानी ZPD वो एरिया है जहां चाइल्ड थोड़ी सी हेल्प, स्कैफोल्डिंग के साथ नए कॉन्सेप्ट्स और स्किल्स को इजीली लर्न कर सकता है। एग्जाम्पल: अगर एक चाइल्ड खुद से 2 डिजिट एडिशन नहीं कर पा रहा है, लेकिन टीचर की थोड़ी गाइडेंस के बाद सॉल्व कर लेता है, तो ये लर्निंग ZPD के अंदर आती है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन: अ चाइल्ड इज शोन टू आइडेंटिकल ग्लासेस filled with the exact same amount of juice. The juice from one glass is poured into a taller, narrower glass. When asked which glass has more juice, the child points to the taller glass, ignoring the width. This child is demonstrating a lack of A. object permanence, B. irreversibility, C. conservation, D. animism. Correct answer C. conservation. ये क्वेश्चन जीन पियागेट्स प्री ऑपरेशनल स्टेज 2 to 7 years से रिलेटेड है। कॉन्जर्वेशन का मतलब होता है ये समझना कि किसी ऑब्जेक्ट या लिक्विड की क्वांटिटी तब भी सेम रहती है, चाहे उसका शेप या कंटेनर चेंज हो जाए। इस एग्जाम्पल में दोनों ग्लासेस में सेम अमाउंट ऑफ जूस था, जूस को एक टॉल और नैरो ग्लास में डाल दिया गया। चाइल्ड ने कहा कि टॉलर ग्लास में ज्यादा जूस है, क्योंकि वो सिर्फ हाइट को देख रहा है और विड्थ को इग्नोर कर रहा है। इसका मतलब चाइल्ड कंजर्वेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट अभी डेवलप नहीं कर पाया है। एग्जाम्पल, अगर 100 रुपये के नोट को फोल्ड कर दिया जाए या सीधा रखा जाए तो उसकी वैल्यू सेम रहती है। इसी तरह ग्लास का शेप बदलने से जूस की क्वांटिटी नहीं बदलती। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, अ चाइल्ड आर्ग्यूज दैट हाइंस शुड नॉट स्टील द ड्रग because it is against the law, and if everyone started breaking the law, society would fall into chaos. According to Kohlberg, this child is at which stage of moral development? A. Punishment and obedience orientation. B. Social system orientation, law and order. C. Good boy nice girl orientation. D. Social contract orientation. Correct answer B. Social system orientation, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर। ये क्वेश्चन लॉरेंस कॉलबर्ग्स थियोरी ऑफ मॉरल डेवलपमेंट से रिलेटेड है। इस सिचुएशन में चाइल्ड कहता है, हाइंस शुड नॉट स्टील द ड्रग बिकॉज इट इज अगेंस्ट द लॉ, एंड इफ एवरीवन ब्रेक्स द लॉ, सोसाइटी विल फॉल इनटू केओस। इसका मतलब चाइल्ड लॉज, रूल्स और सोशल ऑर्डर को मेंटेन करना सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट मानता है। उसके लिए सोसाइटी का सिस्टम स्मूथली चलना चाहिए, इसलिए लॉ तोड़ना गलत है। Next question. A student excels at understanding their own motivations, desires, and emotions and uses this knowledge effectively to guide their own behavior and decisions. According to Gardner, this student demonstrates high levels of _ intelligence. A. Interpersonal. B. Intrapersonal. C. Naturalistic. D. Linguistic. Correct answer B. इंट्रापर्सनल इंटेलिजेंस। ये क्वेश्चन हावर्ड गार्डनर्स थ्योरी ऑफ मल्टीपल इंटेलिजेंसेस पर बेस्ड है। इंट्रापर्सनल इंटेलिजेंस का मतलब है अपने आप को अच्छी तरह समझना, अपनी फीलिंग्स, इमोशंस, स्ट्रेंथ्स, वीकनेसेस, मोटिवेशंस और गोल्स को पहचानना और उनके बेसिस पर सही डिसीजंस लेना। क्वेश्चन में स्टूडेंट अपनी मोटिवेशंस और डिजायर्स को समझता है, अपनी इमोशंस को कंट्रोल करता है, अपनी सेल्फ अवेयरनेस का उसे करके बेटर डिसीजंस लेता है। ये सब इंट्रापर्सनल इंटेलिजेंस की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है। एग्जाम्पल, एक स्टूडेंट जो अपनी स्ट्रेंथ्स और वीकनेसेस को जानता है, अपना स्टडी प्लान खुद बनाता है और अपनी इमोशंस को मैनेज करके एग्जाम की प्रिपरेशन करता है, उसमें इंट्रापर्सनल इंटेलिजेंस हाई होती है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, अ चाइल्ड फ्रीक्वेंटली कंफ्यूजेस सिमिलर लुकिंग लेटर्स लाइक B and D, reverses numbers like 21 and 12, and struggles with fluent reading and spelling. This child is most likely showing symptoms of A. Dyscalculia, B. Dysgraphia, C. Dyspraxia, D. Dyslexia. Correct answer D. Dyslexia. ये क्वेश्चन लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटीज से रिलेटेड है। डिसलेक्सिया एक स्पेसिफिक लर्निंग डिसऑर्डर है जो मेनली रीडिंग, स्पेलिंग और वर्ड रिकॉग्निशन को अफेक्ट करता है। क्वेश्चन में चाइल्ड B और D जैसे सिमिलर लेटर्स को कंफ्यूज करता है, 21 और 12 जैसे नंबर्स रिवर्स कर देता है, फ्लुएंट रीडिंग में डिफिकल्टी होती है, स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक्स बहुत करता है। ये सब डिसलेक्सिया के कॉमन सिम्टम्स है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, ड्यूरिंग अ लेसन a teacher stops to ask students a few quick questions and uses their responses to immediately adjust the teaching pace and clear up a common misunderstanding. This type of assessment is called A. Assessment of learning, summative. B. Assessment for learning, formative. C. Assessment as learning, self-assessment. D. Diagnostic assessment. Correct answer B. Assessment for learning, फॉर्मेटिव। ये क्वेश्चन फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट पर बेस्ड है। क्वेश्चन में टीचर लेसन के बीच में क्विक क्वेश्चंस पूछता है, स्टूडेंट्स के रिस्पॉन्सेज को ऑब्जर्व करता है और इमीडिएटली अपनी टीचिंग को एडजस्ट करता है और मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग को क्लियर करता है। ये असेसमेंट फॉर लर्निंग, फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट का परफेक्ट एग्जाम्पल है, क्योंकि इसका पर्पस स्टूडेंट्स की लर्निंग को इंप्रूव करना होता है, ना कि सिर्फ मार्क्स देना। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, which of the following are examples of secondary socializing agencies? A. Family and neighborhood. B. School and media. C. Family and peer group. D. parents and extended family. Correct answer B. School and media. Socialization वो प्रोसेस है जिसके थ्रू एक चाइल्ड सोसाइटी के वैल्यूज, बिलीफ्स, रूल्स और बिहेवियर को सीखता है। इसके दो मेन एजेंसीज होती है। 1. प्राइमरी सोशलाइजिंग एजेंसीज। ये चाइल्ड की फर्स्ट सोशलाइजेशन करती है। फैमिली, पेरेंट्स, सिबलिंग्स, एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली। यही से चाइल्ड लैंग्वेज, मैनर्स और बेसिक वैल्यूज सीखता है। सेकेंडरी सोशलाइजिंग एजेंसीज। जब चाइल्ड घर के बाहर की दुनिया से इंटरैक्ट करता है तब ये एजेंसीज उसके डेवलपमेंट में इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करती है। स्कूल, मीडिया, टीवी, इंटरनेट, सोशल मीडिया, न्यूज़पेपर्स, पीयर ग्रुप, कम्युनिटी। क्वेश्चन में स्कूल एंड मीडिया दोनों सेकेंडरी सोशलाइजिंग एजेंसीज है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। A student studies hard for an upcoming exam because they are genuinely curious about the topic and want to master the concepts for their own personal satisfaction. This student is displaying A. Extrinsic motivation, B. Intrinsic motivation, C. Learned helplessness, D. Egocentric motivation. Correct answer B. Intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation का मतलब है जब कोई स्टूडेंट किसी काम को अपनी इंटरेस्ट, क्यूरियोसिटी या पर्सनल सेटिस्फैक्शन के लिए करता है बिना किसी एक्सटर्नल रिवॉर्ड के। क्वेश्चन में स्टूडेंट एग्जाम के लिए हार्ड स्टडी कर रहा है क्योंकि वो टॉपिक को जेन्युइनली समझना चाहता है और कॉन्सेप्ट्स को मास्टर करके पर्सनल सेटिस्फैक्शन पाना चाहता है। ये इंट्रिंसिक मोटिवेशन का परफेक्ट एग्जाम्पल है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। अकॉर्डिंग टू एडवर्ड थॉर्नडाइक्स ट्रायल एंड एरर थियोरी, which law states that a satisfying result strengthens the connection between a stimulus and a response, while an annoying result weakens it? A. Law of exercise, B. Law of readiness, C. Law of effect, D. Law of multiple response. Correct answer C. Law of effect. ये क्वेश्चन एडवर्ड थॉर्नडाइक्स ट्रायल एंड एरर थियोरी ऑफ लर्निंग से रिलेटेड है। लॉ ऑफ इफेक्ट के अकॉर्डिंग अगर किसी स्टिम्युलस S के बाद दिया गया रिस्पॉन्स R सैटिस्फाइंग या रिवॉर्डिंग रिजल्ट देता है तो SR कनेक्शन स्ट्रांग हो जाता है। अगर रिस्पॉन्स का रिजल्ट अनोइंग या अनप्लेजेंट हो तो SR कनेक्शन वीक हो जाता है। सिंपल वर्ड्स में रिवॉर्ड से लर्निंग स्ट्रांग होती है और अनप्लेजेंट आउटकम से लर्निंग वीक हो जाती है। एग्जाम्पल, अगर एक स्टूडेंट सही आंसर डीन पर टीचर से प्रेस या रिवॉर्ड पाता है तो वो फ्यूचर में भी सही आंसर डीन की कोशिश करेगा। ये लॉ ऑफ इफेक्ट का एग्जाम्पल है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। इन अ प्रोग्रेसिव क्लासरूम, द रोल ऑफ अ टीचर इज दैट ऑफ अ डैश एंड नॉलेज इज कंस्ट्रक्टेड थ्रू डैश। A. Dictator, passive listening, B. Facilitator, active participation and discovery, C. Lecturer, rote memorization, D. Proctor, strict rewards and punishments. Correct answer B. Facilitator, active participation and discovery. ये क्वेश्चन प्रोग्रेसिव एजुकेशन कॉन्स्ट्रक्टिविस्ट अप्रोच पर बेस्ड है। प्रोग्रेसिव क्लासरूम में टीचर का रोल सिर्फ पढ़ाना नहीं होता बल्कि गाइड और फैसिलिटेटर का होता है। टीचर स्टूडेंट्स को गाइड करता है, लर्निंग के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज प्रोवाइड करता है, स्टूडेंट्स को खुद एक्सप्लोर, थिंक और डिस्कवर करने के लिए एनकरेज करता है। इस अप्रोच में नॉलेज रेडीमेड नहीं दी जाती बल्कि स्टूडेंट्स एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशन, हैंड्स ऑन एक्टिविटीज और डिस्कवरी के थ्रू खुद नॉलेज कंस्ट्रक्ट करते हैं। एग्जाम्पल, साइंस क्लास में टीचर सीधा आंसर बताने की जगह स्टूडेंट्स को एक्सपेरिमेंट करने देता है। स्टूडेंट्स ऑब्जर्वेशन और डिस्कशन के थ्रू कॉन्सेप्ट को खुद समझते हैं। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। अकॉर्डिंग टू नोम चोम्स्की, चिल्ड्रन आर बोर्न विद एन इन्नेट biological capacity to learn language. He termed this internal mental structure the A. Zone of Proximal Development, ZPD, B. Language Acquisition Device, LAD, C. Universal Schema, D. Operant Conditioning Chamber. Correct answer B. Language Acquisition Device, LAD. ये question Noam Chomsky's theory of language development पर based है। According to Noam Chomsky, children are born with an innate, inborn biological ability to learn language. उन्होंने इस inborn mental mechanism को language acquisition device, LAD, नाम दिया। लैड एक हाइपोथेटिकल मेंटल सिस्टम है जो चिल्ड्रन को लैंग्वेज के रूल्स, ग्रामर समझने में हेल्प करता है। बहुत कम एक्सपोजर के बावजूद लैंग्वेज को नेचुरली एक्वायर करने में मदद करता है। इसी वजह से छोटे बच्चे बिना फॉर्मल टीचिंग के अपनी मदर टंग सीख लेते हैं। एग्जाम्पल, 1 to 3 साल का चाइल्ड घर में लोगों को सुनते सुनते नेचुरली बोलना शुरू कर देता है। चोम्स्की के अकॉर्डिंग ये लैड की वजह से पॉसिबल होता है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, अ यंग बॉय ऑब्जर्व्स हिज ओल्डर ब्रदर क्लियरिंग द डिनर टेबल and receiving praise from their parents. The next evening, the young boy eagerly clears his own plate, expecting similar praise. This scenario best illustrates learning through A. Classical conditioning, B. Trial and error, C. Vicarious reinforcement, D. Operant conditioning. Correct answer, C. Vicarious reinforcement. ये क्वेश्चन एल्बर्ट बंदूराज सोशल लर्निंग थ्योरी पर बेस्ड है। वाइकेरियस रीइंफोर्समेंट का मतलब है जब एक पर्सन किसी और को रिवॉर्ड मिलते हुए देखकर वही बिहेवियर अडॉप्ट करता है बिना खुद रिवॉर्ड रिसीव किए। क्वेश्चन में यंग बॉय ने अपने ओल्डर ब्रदर को डिनर टेबल क्लियर करते देखा। पेरेंट्स ने ब्रदर की प्रेज की। अगले दिन यंग बॉय ने भी सेम बिहेवियर किया क्योंकि उससे भी प्रेज की एक्सपेक्टेशन थी। इसका मतलब चाइल्ड ने ऑब्जर्वेशनल लर्निंग और वाइकेरियस रीइंफोर्समेंट के थ्रू सीखा। एग्जाम्पल, अगर क्लास में एक स्टूडेंट को करेक्ट आंसर डीन पर टीचर अप्रिशिएट करे और दूसरे स्टूडेंट्स भी उसी तरह आंसर डीन की कोशिश करें तो ये वाइकेरियस रीइंफोर्समेंट है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, अकॉर्डिंग टू एरिक एरिक्सन, अ 14-year-old teenager who is constantly trying out different clothing styles, music preferences, and social groups is actively navigating which psychological crisis? A. Trust versus mistrust. B. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. C. Industry versus inferiority. D. Identity versus role confusion. Correct answer, D. Identity versus role confusion. ये क्वेश्चन एरिक एरिक्सन्स साइकोसोशल थ्योरी ऑफ डेवलपमेंट पर बेस्ड है। 14-year-old चाइल्ड एडोलेसेंस 12 to 18 years स्टेज में होता है। इस स्टेज का साइकोसोशल क्राइसिस है। आइडेंटिटी वर्सेस रोल कंफ्यूजन। इस स्टेज में टीनेजर अपनी आइडेंटिटी, मैं कौन हूं, को डिस्कवर करने की कोशिश करता है। डिफरेंट क्लोथिंग स्टाइल्स, हॉबीज, म्यूजिक प्रेफरेंसेस और फ्रेंड ग्रुप्स को एक्सप्लोर करता है। अपने फ्यूचर गोल्स, करियर और पर्सनल वैल्यूज के बारे में सोचता है। क्वेश्चन में टीनेजर डिफरेंट क्लोथिंग स्टाइल्स, म्यूजिक और सोशल ग्रुप्स ट्राई कर रहा है जो क्लियरली आइडेंटिटी वर्सेस रोल कंफ्यूजन स्टेज को शो करता है। एग्जाम्पल, एक टीनेजर कभी स्पोर्ट्स में इंटरेस्ट लेता है, कभी म्यूजिक सीखता है और अलग अलग करियर ऑप्शंस एक्सप्लोर करता है ताकि अपनी रियल आइडेंटिटी को समझ सके। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, अ टीचर रिमार्क्स इन क्लास, boys are naturally great at mathematics and logic, while girls are naturally better at language and artistic creative work. This statement by the teacher promotes A. Gender constancy, B. Gender equity, C. Gender stereotyping, D. Gender identity. Correct answer, C. Gender stereotyping. ये statement gender stereotyping को promote करता है। Gender stereotyping का मतलब है बॉयज और गर्ल्स के बारे में फिक्स्ड बिलीव्स या अजम्पशंस बनाना बिना इंडिविजुअल एबिलिटीज को कंसिडर किए। क्वेश्चन में टीचर कहता है, बॉयज आर नेचुरली ग्रेट एट मैथमेटिक्स एंड लॉजिक, गर्ल्स आर नेचुरली बेटर एट लैंग्वेज एंड क्रिएटिव वर्क। ये एक स्टेरियोटाइप है क्योंकि मैथमेटिक्स, लैंग्वेज या क्रिएटिविटी किसी जेंडर की नेचुरल प्रॉपर्टी नहीं होती। हर चाइल्ड की एबिलिटीज उसकी इंटरेस्ट, प्रैक्टिस और अपॉर्चुनिटीज पर डिपेंड करती है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, अंडर द कंटिन्यूअस एंड कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इवैल्यूएशन CCE फ्रेमवर्क, द टर्म कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव स्पेसिफिकली implies the evaluation of A. both scholastic, academic and co-scholastic, co-curricular aspects of growth, B. only academic subjects at regular, weekly intervals, C. extracurricular achievements, sports and behavioral traits exclusively, D. term and cumulative examinations covering the full syllabus. Correct answer, A. both scholastic, academic and co-scholastic, co-curricular एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ ग्रोथ। ये क्वेश्चन कंटिन्यूअस एंड कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इवैल्यूएशन CCE से रिलेटेड है। CCE में कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव का मतलब है स्टूडेंट के ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट का असेसमेंट, सिर्फ एकेडमिक्स का नहीं। इसमें इवैल्यूएट किया जाता है स्कॉलास्टिक एरियाज, एकेडमिक सब्जेक्ट्स, मैथ, साइंस, इंग्लिश एटसेट्रा। को स्कॉलास्टिक एरिया स्पोर्ट्स, आर्ट्स, म्यूजिक, डांस, लाइफ स्किल्स, वैल्यूज, एटीट्यूड, पर्सनैलिटी, क्रिएटिविटी, हेल्थ एंड फिजिकल एजुकेशन। यानी CCE का फोकस चाइल्ड के होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट पार होता है। डिफरेंस बिटवीन कंटिन्यूअस एंड कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव। कंटिन्यूअस असेसमेंट रेगुलर इंटरवल्स पार होता है, फीडबैक कंटिन्यूअसली दिया जाता है, लर्निंग को इम्प्रूव करने पर फोकस होता है। कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव स्टूडेंट के एकेडमिक प्लस नॉन एकेडमिक दोनों एस्पेक्ट्स का इवैल्यूएशन होता है। ओवरऑल पर्सनैलिटी डेवलपमेंट को असेस किया जाता है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। A school strictly enforces a rule where students must line up silently by height before entering the classroom and stand up instantly when an adult enters the room. While these behaviors are not part of the official academic syllabus, the students are learning obedience, conformity, and respect for hierarchy. This is an example of A. The null curriculum, B. The hidden curriculum, C. The core curriculum, D. The explicit curriculum. Correct answer B. The hidden curriculum. ये क्वेश्चन हिडन करिकुलम पर बेस्ड है। हिडन करिकुलम का मतलब है वो वैल्यूज, एटीट्यूड्स और बिहेवियर्स जो स्टूडेंट्स स्कूल में इनडायरेक्टली सीखते हैं, लेकिन जो ऑफिशियल सिलेबस का पार्ट नहीं होते। क्वेश्चन में स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स को साइलेंटली लाइन में खड़ा होना सिखाता है, अडल्ट के आते ही खड़े होना सिखाता है। इस प्रोसेस से स्टूडेंट्स ओबीडियंस, डिसिप्लिन, कंफॉर्मिटी और रिस्पेक्ट फॉर अथॉरिटी सीख रहे हैं। ये सब टेक्स्ट बुक में नहीं लिखा होता, फिर भी स्कूल एनवायरनमेंट के थ्रू नेचुरली लर्न हो जाता है। इसी को हिडन करिकुलम कहते हैं। एग्जाम्पल, टाइम पर स्कूल आना, क्यू मेंटेन करना, टीचर्स और एल्डर्स का रिस्पेक्ट करना, टीम वर्क और डिसिप्लिन डेवलप करना। ये सब हिडन करिकुलम के एग्जाम्पल्स हैं। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। A school principal decides to cancel the extra weekend remedial homework assignment for students who maintain perfect classroom attendance throughout the week. As a result, the number of students with perfect attendance increases. In behaviorist terms, this strategy is an example of A. Positive reinforcement, B. Negative reinforcement, C. Positive punishment, D. Negative punishment. Correct answer B. नेगेटिव रीइंफोर्समेंट। ये क्वेश्चन B.F. स्किनर्स ऑपरेंट कंडीशनिंग पर बेस्ड है। क्वेश्चन में स्टूडेंट्स परफेक्ट अटेंडेंस मेंटेन करते हैं, प्रिंसिपल उनके लिए एक्स्ट्रा वीकेंड रिमीडियल होमवर्क कैंसिल कर देता है, होमवर्क रिमूव नेगेटिव किया गया। इससे स्टूडेंट्स की परफेक्ट अटेंडेंस और बढ़ जाती है। यानी एक अनप्लेजेंट चीज, एक्स्ट्रा होमवर्क को हटाकर डिजायर्ड बिहेवियर, परफेक्ट अटेंडेंस को इंक्रीज किया गया। इसे नेगेटिव रीइंफोर्समेंट कहते हैं। रिमेंबर, नेगेटिव रीइंफोर्समेंट इज नॉट इक्वल टू पनिशमेंट। नेगेटिव रीइंफोर्समेंट अनप्लेजेंट स्टिम्युलस को रिमूव करके बिहेवियर को इंक्रीज करना, पनिशमेंट बिहेवियर को डिक्रीज करना। एग्जाम्पल, सीट बेल्ट पहनते हाई कार का अनोइंग अलार्म बंद हो जाता है, स्टूडेंट रेगुलर अटेंडेंस रखता है तो एक्स्ट्रा होमवर्क हटा दिया जाता है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। According to Kurt Lewin's field theory, a student's learning and behavior, B, are a dynamic function of the interaction between the person, P, and their psychological environment, E. This relationship is famously represented by which formula? A. B is equal to F, P plus E. B. B is equal to F, P backslash times E. C. B is equal to F, P, E. D. B is equal to F, P, E. Correct answer C. B is equal to F, P, E. ये क्वेश्चन कर्ट लुइन्स फील्ड थ्योरी से रिलेटेड है। अकॉर्डिंग टू कर्ट लुइन, बिहेवियर B किसी एक फैक्टर से डिसाइड नहीं होता। ये पर्सन P और एनवायरनमेंट E के इंटरैक्शन का रिजल्ट होता है। इस रिलेशनशिप को उन्होंने इस फेमस फॉर्मूला से एक्सप्लेन किया। B is equal to F, P, E. जिसका मतलब है B is equal to behavior, F is equal to function of, P is equal to person, personality, motivation, abilities, needs, E is equal to environment, family, school, friends, classroom, society. Behavior is a function of both the person and the environment. Example, एक स्टूडेंट बहुत इंटेलिजेंट है, पर्सन, लेकिन अगर उसका क्लासरूम एनवायरनमेंट सपोर्टिव नहीं है, एनवायरनमेंट, तो उसकी परफॉर्मेंस अफेक्ट हो सकती है। इसी तरह एवरेज एबिलिटी वाला स्टूडेंट अगर पॉजिटिव एनवायरनमेंट में हो तो वो एक्सीलेंट परफॉर्मेंस कर सकता है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, एन इंडिविजुअलाइज्ड एजुकेशन प्रोग्राम IEP is best described as a written statement or plan designed for a student with a disability, who is primarily responsible for creating, regularly reviewing, and updating this document? A. The school principal and school board members exclusively. B. A collaborative team including the special educator, general teacher, parents, and school administrators. C. The child's primary care physician or clinical psychologist alone. D. The state education department officials during annual audits. Correct answer. B. A collaborative team including the special educator, general teacher, parents, and school administrators. IEP, Individualized Education Program, एक written educational plan होता है जो children with disabilities CWD के लिए बनाया जाता है। इसका पर्पस है चाइल्ड की इंडिविजुअल लर्निंग नीड्स की अकॉर्डिंग गोल्स, टीचिंग स्ट्रैटेजीज और सपोर्ट सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करना। IEP किसी एक पर्सन द्वारा नहीं बनाया जाता, ये कोलैबोरेटिव टीम एफर्ट होता है। इस टीम में जनरली शामिल होते हैं स्पेशल एजुकेटर, जनरल क्लास टीचर, पेरेंट्स गार्डियंस, स्कूल प्रिंसिपल एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, जब जरूरत हो तो थेरेपिस्ट, काउंसलर या साइकोलॉजिस्ट भी इंक्लूड किए जा सकते हैं। ये टीम मिलकर चाइल्ड की करंट परफॉर्मेंस असेस करती है, इंडिविजुअल लर्निंग गोल्स सेट करती है, रिक्वायर्ड अकोमोडेशंस और सपोर्ट डिसाइड करती है, और रेगुलर इंटरवल्स पर IEP को रिव्यू और अपडेट भी करती है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, अकॉर्डिंग टू जेरोम ब्रूनर, a curriculum should be structured in a way that basic ideas are repeatedly visited and built upon across different grade levels with increasing depth and complexity. This educational approach is known as A. Linear curriculum, B. Integrated curriculum, C. Spiral curriculum, D. Core curriculum. Correct answer, C. Spiral curriculum. ये क्वेश्चन जेरोम ब्रूनर्स थियोरी ऑफ लर्निंग से रिलेटेड है। अकॉर्डिंग टू जेरोम ब्रूनर, इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स को सिर्फ एक बार नहीं पढ़ाया जाना चाहिए, उन्हें डिफरेंट ग्रेड लेवल्स पर बार बार रिविजिट करना चाहिए और हर बार थोड़ा और डेप्थ और कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी के साथ पढ़ाया जाना चाहिए। इस अप्रोच को स्पाइरल करिकुलम कहते हैं। एग्जाम्पल, क्लास 1 चाइल्ड प्लांट्स के बेसिक पार्ट्स, रूट, स्टेम, लीफ सीखता है। क्लास 5 फोटोसिंथेसिस और प्लांट फंक्शंस पढ़ता है। क्लास 9 प्लांट फिजियोलॉजी और सेल्यूलर प्रोसेसेस डिटेल में पढ़ता है। यानी सेम कॉन्सेप्ट हर क्लास में दोबारा आता है, लेकिन हायर लेवल अंडरस्टैंडिंग के साथ। यही स्पाइरल करिकुलम है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, अकॉर्डिंग टू रॉबर्ट गग्नेस कंडीशंस ऑफ लर्निंग, which type of learning sits at the absolute highest, most complex level of the hierarchy? A. Concept learning, B. Principle rule learning, C. Signal learning, D. Problem solving. Correct answer, D. Problem solving. ये क्वेश्चन रॉबर्ट गग्नेस कंडीशंस ऑफ लर्निंग से रिलेटेड है। अकॉर्डिंग टू रॉबर्ट गग्ने, लर्निंग सिंपल से कॉम्प्लेक्स ऑर्डर में डेवलप होती है। उन्होंने लर्निंग के 8 हायरार्कियल टाइप्स बताए, जिसमें प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग सबसे हाईएस्ट और मोस्ट कॉम्प्लेक्स लेवल है। गग्नेस लर्निंग हायरार्की, सिंपल कॉम्प्लेक्स, सिग्नल लर्निंग, स्टिमुलस रिस्पॉन्स लर्निंग। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, a student refuses to copy answers from a classmate during a unit test because they are terrified that if the teacher catches them, they will be sent to the principal's office and grounded by their parents. According to Kohlberg, this student is operating at which stage of moral development? A. Good boy, nice girl orientation. B. Social contract orientation. C. Punishment and obedience orientation. D. Law and order orientation. Correct answer, C. punishment and obedience orientation. According to Kohlberg's moral development theory, Stage 1, punishment and obedience orientation is the first stage of the pre-conventional level. In this question, the student does not copy because they are afraid of punishment, being sent to the principal's office and grounded by their parents. Their decision is based on avoiding punishment, not because cheating is morally wrong. Next question. Carol Gilligan critiqued Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of moral development primarily on the grounds that it was biased against women because it overemphasized a morality of justice while neglecting a morality of obedience, b morality of care and relationships, c morality of cognitive development, d morality of reward and punishment. Correct answer, b morality of care and relationships. Carol Gilligan was a psychologist who criticized Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of moral development. She argued that Kohlberg's research was biased toward men because most of his studies were conducted on boys and men. As a result, his theory mainly reflected a male perspective of moral reasoning. Kohlberg believed that moral decisions are based on justice, rules, rights, and fairness. This is known as the morality of justice. Kohlberg believed that moral decisions are based on justice, rules, rights, and fairness. This is known as the morality of justice. Care and compassion, relationships with others, empathy and concern for people's feelings, responsibility toward others. She called this the morality of care. Gilligan did not say that women lack moral reasoning. Instead, she argued that men and women may emphasize different aspects of morality, and both justice and care are equally valuable. Example: imagine your best friend forgets to submit an assignment. Next question. A student arrives at school every morning feeling deeply anxious, sleep-deprived, and having skipped breakfast due to a difficult home environment. According to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this student will most likely struggle to achieve which level of need in the classroom? A. Safety needs. B. Belongingness and love needs. C. Self-actualization cognitive needs. D. Esteem needs. Correct answer, C. Self-actualization cognitive needs. According to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, lower-level needs must be satisfied before higher-level needs can be achieved. In this question, the student feels deeply anxious, is sleep-deprived, has skipped breakfast, comes from a difficult home environment. These indicate that the student's physiological needs, food, sleep, and safety needs, security, emotional safety, are not being met. Because these basic needs remain unmet, the student is likely to find it difficult to concentrate in class, think creatively, solve problems effectively, reach their full learning potential. These abilities belong to the higher levels of Maslow's hierarchy, especially cognitive needs and self-actualization. Next question. According to Charles Spearman's two-factor theory, intelligence consists of a general mental ability common to all cognitive tasks, alongside specific abilities unique to individual tasks. He represented these two distinct components as A. Fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence. B. G-factor and S-factor. C. Verbal IQ and performance IQ. D. Analytic intelligence and practical intelligence. Correct answer, B. G-factor and S-factor. Charles Spearman proposed the two-factor theory of intelligence, which states that every intelligent activity depends on two factors. G-factor, general intelligence. S-factor, specific intelligence. G-factor, general intelligence. The G-factor is the general mental ability that influences performance in almost all intellectual tasks. Logical reasoning, problem solving, learning new concepts, understanding relationships. Example: a student who performs well in mathematics, science, and English because of strong overall reasoning ability is using a high G-factor. S-factor, specific intelligence. The S-factor refers to special abilities required for a particular task or subject. musical talent, drawing skills, mathematical calculation, language proficiency. Example: a student may have excellent musical skills but average performance in mathematics. Their musical ability represents an S factor. Formula to remember: performance in any task is equal to G plus S. Next question. An elderly mathematician is no longer as fast at solving completely unfamiliar abstract puzzles as they were in their 20s. However, their accumulated vocabulary, knowledge of historical formulas, and professional expertise are higher than ever. This scenario demonstrates A. A decline in crystallized intelligence and an increase in fluid intelligence. B. A decline in fluid intelligence and an increase in crystallized intelligence. C. A simultaneous decline in both fluid and crystallized intelligence. D. An increase in both fluid and crystallized intelligence. Correct answer: B. A decline in fluid intelligence and an increase in crystallized intelligence. According to Raymond Cattell's theory of intelligence, intelligence is divided into fluid intelligence, GF, and crystallized intelligence, GC. In this scenario, the elderly mathematician is not as quick at solving completely new and unfamiliar abstract puzzles, which indicates a decline in fluid intelligence because fluid intelligence involves logical reasoning, problem solving, and thinking in novel situations, and it generally decreases with age. However, the mathematician's vocabulary, knowledge of mathematical formulas, and years of professional experience have continued to grow, showing an increase in crystallized intelligence, which is based on accumulated knowledge, education, and life experience. Thus, while the ability to solve new problems quickly may decline with age, the knowledge and wisdom gained over the years continue to improve. Next question. A teacher ensures that before introducing a brand new, complex science topic, they clear away distractions, hook the students' interest with an exciting riddle, and make sure the class is eager and mentally prepared to learn. Which primary law of learning from Edward Thorndike's theory is the teacher applying? A. Law of exercise. B. Law of effect. C. Law of readiness. D. Law of use and disuse. Correct answer: C. Law of readiness. According to Edward Thorndike's theory of learning, the law of readiness states that learning becomes more effective when learners are physically, mentally, and emotionally prepared to learn. In this question, before introducing a new and difficult science topic, the teacher first removes distractions, captures the student's attention with an interesting riddle, and creates curiosity so that they're mentally eager to learn. This means the teacher is ensuring that students are in a state of readiness before the actual teaching begins. When students are interested, attentive, and motivated, learning becomes easier and more meaningful. Therefore, this situation is a perfect example of Thorndike's law of readiness. Next question. A 5-year-old child is talking out loud to herself while organizing her colored blocks, saying, "No, the big blue square goes here. Then I need the small red triangle next to it." According to Lev Vygotsky, this self-talk is called A. Egocentric speech and represents a cognitive deficit. B. Private speech and is a vital tool for self-regulation and thought. C. Social speech used to communicate with imaginary peers. D. Inner speech that has become entirely silent. Correct answer: B. Private speech and is a vital tool for self-regulation and thought. According to Lev Vygotsky's sociocultural theory, when a young child talks to herself while solving a problem or performing a task, it is called private speech. In this question, the 5-year-old child is saying, "No, the big blue square goes here. Then I need the small red triangle next to it," while arranging the blocks. This self-talk is not meant to communicate with others. Instead, it helps the child plan, think, remember instructions, and guide her own actions. Vygotsky believed that private speech is a normal and important part of cognitive development because it helps children develop self-regulation, problem-solving skills, and independent thinking. As children grow older, this private speech gradually becomes inner speech, which is silent thinking inside the mind. Next question. According to Erikson's stages of psychosocial development, adolescents, typically aged 12 to 18 years, are primarily navigating which core psychological conflict? A. Trust versus mistrust. B. Industry versus inferiority. C. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. D. Identity versus role confusion. Correct answer. D. Identity versus role confusion. According to Erikson's psychosocial development theory, adolescence, approximately 12 to 18 years, is the stage of identity versus role confusion. During this period, teenagers try to discover who am I and what do I want to become in life. They explore their interests, career goals, values, beliefs, personality, and relationships to develop a clear sense of identity. If adolescents receive proper guidance, encouragement, and opportunities to explore themselves, they develop a strong personal identity, confidence, and direction in life. However, if they are unable to resolve this conflict, they experience role confusion, leading to uncertainty about their future, goals, and place in society. Example: a 16-year-old student is trying different hobbies, thinking about becoming a doctor or an engineer, exploring personal interests, and deciding what values to follow. This exploration is a normal part of developing identity. If the student cannot make these decisions and feels confused about who they are or what they want to become, they experience role confusion. Next question. A group of 7-year-old children are playing a game. One child suggests changing a rule so the game goes faster, but the others reject it completely, shouting, "No, the rules are absolute. They were made by adults, and they can never be changed under any circumstances." According to Piaget, these children are exhibiting A. Autonomous morality. B. Heteronomous morality. C. Conventional morality. D. Sensorimotor morality. Correct answer. B. Heteronomous morality. According to Jean Piaget's theory of moral development, children around 5 to 10 years of age are in the stage of heteronomous morality, moral realism. At this stage, children believe that rules are fixed, absolute, and made by authority figures such as parents or teachers, so they cannot be changed. In this question, the 7-year-old children refuse to change the rules and insist that the rules were made by adults and can never be changed. This clearly shows heteronomous morality, where children obey rules without questioning them and believe that breaking a rule is always wrong regardless of the situation or intention. They see rules as permanent and externally imposed rather than something people can mutually agree to change. Example: suppose children are playing Ludo and one child says, "Let's change the rules so everyone gets two chances, because it will make the game more fun." The other children immediately reply, "No, these are the original rules. Adults made them, so they cannot be changed." This is a perfect example of heteronomous morality. Next question. A primary school student watches an older sibling carefully organize their school bag and put their shoes away neatly every evening. A few days later, the younger student begins to mimic this exact behavior perfectly, despite never being directly instructed or rewarded for it. According to Albert Bandura, this is a clear example of A. Operant conditioning. B. Latent learning. C. Observational learning, modeling. D. Insightful learning. Correct answer. C. Observational learning, modeling. According to Albert Bandura's social learning theory, people can learn new behaviors simply by observing others without receiving direct instruction, practice, or rewards. This process is called observational learning or modeling. In this question, the primary school student carefully watches the older sibling organize the school bag and keep the shoes neatly every evening. After a few days, the younger child imitates the same behavior perfectly, even though nobody taught, instructed, or rewarded them for doing it. This shows that the child learned by observing and copying a role model, which is the central idea of Bandura's theory. Next question. A student in your class struggles significantly with traditional written language exams and mathematical equations. However, they display an incredible ability to navigate dense forests during field trips, effortlessly identify various local bird and plant species, and predict weather patterns based on cloud formations. According to Gardner, this student excels in A. Spatial intelligence, B. Naturalistic intelligence, C. Existential intelligence, D. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Correct answer, B. Naturalistic intelligence. According to Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, naturalistic intelligence is the ability to recognize, classify, and understand nature, including plants, animals, birds, rocks, weather patterns, and other features of the natural environment. In this question, the student may struggle with traditional written exams and mathematical equations, but demonstrates an exceptional ability to navigate dense forests, identify different bird and plant species, and even predict weather changes by observing cloud formations. These abilities clearly reflect a deep understanding and awareness of the natural world, which is the hallmark of naturalistic intelligence. Gardner believed that intelligence is not limited to academic performance. A child can be highly intelligent in one area, even if they face difficulties in another. Therefore, this student's strength lies in naturalistic intelligence, not in linguistic or mathematical intelligence. Example: a child can easily identify different types of plants and trees, recognize bird species just by their sounds, predict rain by observing clouds and wind, find the correct path in a forest without using a map. Next question. In his famous experiments with a chimpanzee named Sultan, Wolfgang Kohler placed a banana outside a cage just out of reach, along with two hollow bamboo sticks that could be joined together to make a longer stick. Sultan initially failed to reach the banana, sat down quietly for a moment, and then suddenly jumped up, joined the sticks, and fetched the banana. This experiment demonstrates A. Operant conditioning through trial and error, B. Classical conditioning via paired stimuli, C. Insightful learning through sudden restructuring of the problem, D. Rote memorization of a previously observed behavior. Correct answer, C. Insightful learning through sudden restructuring of the problem. This experiment was conducted by Wolfgang Kohler, one of the founders of Gestalt psychology. In his famous experiment, the chimpanzee Sultan was unable to reach a banana placed outside the cage because the available sticks were too short. After trying for some time, Sultan stopped, observed the situation calmly, and then suddenly realized that the two hollow bamboo sticks could be joined together to make one long stick. He immediately connected the sticks and successfully pulled the banana towards him. This sudden understanding or aha moment is called insightful learning. According to Kohler, learning does not always occur through repeated trial and error. Sometimes an individual understands the entire problem, reorganizes it mentally, and suddenly discovers the correct solution. Therefore, this experiment is the best example of insightful learning. Imagine a student cannot reach a book kept on a high shelf. Instead of repeatedly jumping, the student suddenly realizes that placing a chair on top of a small stool will help reach the book. This sudden realization is an example of insight learning. Next question. A physical education teacher demonstrates a complex gymnastic routine. A student carefully watches the teacher and then attempts to mimic the exact body movements and posture for the very first time. Under the psychomotor domain, specifically Dave's or Simpson's classification, this student is operating at which level? A. Naturalization, B. Precision, C. Imitation, D. Articulation. Correct answer, C. Imitation. According to the psychomotor domain, Dave's taxonomy, imitation is the first level of skill learning. At this stage, a learner observes a demonstration and tries to copy or imitate the same action for the first time. In this question, the physical education teacher demonstrates a complex gymnastic routine, and the student carefully watches and then attempts to perform the exact same body movements and posture. Since the student is copying the teacher's actions for the first time and has not yet mastered the skill, this is a perfect example of the imitation level. At this stage, the learner depends on a model or instructor and requires guidance and practice before performing the skill independently. Example: a music teacher demonstrates how to play a melody on the keyboard, and the student immediately tries to copy the same finger movements. Since the student is simply observing and imitating, this is the imitation stage. Next question. Under the Continuous and Comprehensive Evaluation (CCE) framework, the term comprehensive specifically indicates that assessment must cover A. Only scholastic, academic, achievements throughout the term. B. Both scholastic, academic, and co-scholastic, curricular extracurricular, aspects of growth. C. Extensive end-of-year written examinations across all subjects. D. Weekly diagnostic test performance in core science and math subjects. Correct answer: B. Both scholastic, academic, and co-scholastic, curricular extracurricular, aspects of growth. Under the Continuous and Comprehensive Evaluation (CCE) framework, the word comprehensive means that a student's assessment should focus on their overall or holistic development, not just academic marks. It includes evaluating both scholastic areas, such as languages, mathematics, science, and social science, and co-scholastic areas, such as life skills, attitudes, values, creativity, art, music, sports, health, and participation in extracurricular activities. The objective of CCE is to assess the all-round development of the child by considering intellectual, physical, emotional, social, and moral growth. Therefore, assessment is not limited to written examinations, but also includes observation, projects, activities, assignments, and classroom participation. Example: suppose a student scores well in mathematics and science, scholastic, participates actively in art competitions, shows excellent sportsmanship during games, demonstrates leadership, teamwork, and good behavior. Under CCE, all these aspects are evaluated, not just academic marks. Next question. When a student consistently makes the exact same error while solving multi-step mathematical word problems, a teacher should conduct a test to identify the specific nature of the student's hidden learning gap, followed immediately by targeted instruction to correct it. This two-step process is known as A. Summative assessment and grading. B. Diagnostic testing and remedial teaching. C. Aptitude testing and enriched learning. D. Norm reference testing and acceleration. Correct answer: B. Diagnostic testing and remedial teaching. When a student repeatedly makes the same mistake while solving multi-step mathematical word problems, it indicates that the student has a specific learning difficulty or misconception rather than just a careless error. In such a situation, the teacher should first conduct a diagnostic test to identify the exact cause of the problem. For example, whether the student has difficulty understanding the language of the question, selecting the correct mathematical operation, or applying concepts correctly. Once the learning gap is identified, the teacher should provide remedial teaching, which means giving special, targeted instruction and extra practice to help the student overcome that weakness. Thus, diagnostic testing identifies the problem and remedial teaching solves the problem, making this the most effective approach for improving learning. Example: a student always gets word problems wrong, but performs simple calculations correctly. Diagnostic test. The teacher discovers that the student cannot identify keywords like difference, altogether, or remaining. Remedial teaching. The teacher gives special lessons on understanding mathematical vocabulary and provides additional word problem practice. Next question. According to Section 25 of the Right to Education, RT Act 2009, what is the mandatory minimum number of actual working hours per week required for a teacher, including both instructional and preparation hours? A. 35 hours. B. 40 hours. C. 45 hours. D. 50 hours. Correct answer C. 45 hours. According to Section 25 of the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education, RTE Act 2009, read with the schedule of the Act, a teacher is required to work a minimum of 45 actual working hours per week. These 45 hours include both classroom teaching, instructional hours, and time spent on lesson planning, preparation, evaluation of students' work, maintaining records, and other academic responsibilities. The purpose of this provision is to ensure that teachers have sufficient time not only to teach, but also to prepare quality lessons, assess students effectively, and support their overall learning. Thus, the RTE Act recognizes that a teacher's role extends beyond classroom instruction. Example: a teacher's weekly schedule may include 30 to 35 hours of classroom teaching, 10 to 15 hours for lesson planning, checking notebooks, preparing teaching learning materials, TLM, assessing students, and maintaining school records. Together, these responsibilities add up to the minimum 45 working hours per week required under the RTE Act. Next question. A student in your class struggles significantly with fine motor coordination. Their handwriting is highly uneven, letters are spaced inconsistently, they frequently mix up capital and lowercase letters midword, and they find the physical act of writing exhausting. This student is exhibiting classic symptoms of which learning disability? A. Dyscalculia. B. Dyslexia. C. Dysgraphia. D. Dyspraxia. Correct answer C. Dysgraphia. Dysgraphia is a specific learning disability, SLD, that mainly affects a student's writing ability and fine motor coordination. A child with dysgraphia may have poor and uneven handwriting, inconsistent spacing between letters or words, mixing of capital and lowercase letters, difficulty forming letters correctly, and the physical act of writing may be slow, tiring, and frustrating. In this question, the student has uneven handwriting, irregular letter spacing, frequently switches between uppercase and lowercase letters, and feels exhausted while writing. These are all classic signs of dysgraphia. The problem is not with intelligence, but with the brain's ability to coordinate the fine motor movements needed for writing and organizing written expression. Example: a student may write apple instead of apple, leave uneven spaces between words and letters, grip the pencil very tightly and complain that their hand hurts after writing just a few lines, take much longer than classmates to complete written work. These are common characteristics of dysgraphia. Next question. The National Education Policy, NEP 2020, replaced the long-standing 10+ to school structure with a brand new curricular framework. This new system covers ages 3 to 18 and is represented as A. 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5. B. 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. C. 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5. D. 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2. Correct answer B. 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. The National Education Policy, NEP 2020, replaced the traditional 10+ to education structure with a 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 curricular and pedagogical structure. This new framework is based on the developmental needs of children and covers the age group of 3 to 18 years. It also includes early childhood care and education, ECI, bringing children aged 3 to 6 years into the formal education framework for the first time. NEP 2020 structure. Foundational stage, 5 years. Age, 3 to 8 years. Classes, 3 years of preschool Anganwadi plus class 1 and 2. Focus, play-based, activity-based, and discovery-based learning. Preparatory stage, 3 years. Age, 8 to 11 years. Classes, 3 to 5. Focus, language development, reading, writing, numeracy, and experiential learning. Middle stage, 3 years. Age, 11 to 14 years. Classes, 6 to 8. Focus, subject-based learning, critical thinking, experiments, and project work. Secondary stage, 4 years. Age, 14 to 18 years. Classes, 9 to 12. Focus, multidisciplinary education, flexibility in subject choice, skill development, and preparation for higher education or careers. Next question. According to Kurt Lewin's field theory, an individual's behavior, B, is a dynamic function, F, of the interaction between the person, P, and their psychological environment, E. This foundational formula is written as A, B is equal to F, P backslash times E. B, B is equal to P plus E. C, B is equal to F, P, E. D, B is equal to backslash frac, P, E. Correct answer, C, B is equal to F, P, E. According to Kurt Lewin's field theory, a person's behavior, B, is not determined only by personality or only by the environment. Instead, behavior is the result of the interaction between the person, P, and the environment, E. Lewin expressed this relationship through his famous equation. So friends, that's a wrap for today's session. I hope today's MAHATET 2026 MCQs with explanations helped you understand the concepts better. If you found this video useful, don't forget to hit the like button because your support motivates us to create more quality content. Comment below and let me know how many questions you got right and which topic you want next. Share this video with your friends who are preparing for MAHATET, CTET, TET, or any teaching exam, so they can also benefit from these questions. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe now and press the bell icon so you never miss our upcoming mega marathons, PYQs, practice sets, and revision classes. Success doesn't come from studying one day. It comes from consistent daily practice. Keep learning, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.